Alright guys, this is my third attempt to make this video, so hopefully it goes well. Like they say, third time's a charm. Let's try this again. Alright, so today I'm going to walk you through how we can make some adjustments to our landscape photos in Lightroom. So you may have gone out, shot some nice landscape photos, and then you go look at your photos later and you realize, oh crap, they're overexposed, they look washed out, the colors look wrong, and it's a bit of a bummer when you think you get a good shot and you realize they're kind of messed up. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop into Lightroom and I'm going to show you a photo that I shot that is way overexposed and just looks like crap, and how we can go ahead and recover that. So if you guys are ready, you guys can edit along with me or just watch. And before I get into this, I am doing a Canon EOS M50 giveaway. If you're interested in winning this Canon M50, subscribe, go to the link in the description, and it's going to tell you all the instructions that you need to do. And yeah, you may have a chance to win a Canon M50. Let's get into it. Alright guys, here is my beautiful washed out overexposed photo, and the colors don't look all that great. It's a cool shot, but it just doesn't look all that great. So what can we do to make this photo just look worthy? Like Thor, how he's worthy. Let's make this image look like Thor. Alright, that was bad. We're gonna make this image look good. Okay, so first up, let's go into our edit panel right here. I'm gonna bring the exposure down a bit. I'll probably throw it right there for now. And now when I have like any kind of washed out sky like this, or overexposed sky, I like to just drag the highlights down. Let's see. I might drag them to about there. I like where that is. Now I kind of want to bring back some of the detail in the trees and maybe the rocks a bit. So I think I'm going to lift the shadows a bit. About right there. And since I've lifted the shadows, I want to bring back some contrast. So what I think I might do is drag the blacks down a bit, and then even add some contrast. Cool, so I'm liking where that's at. I might even bring the whites up just to brighten the image just a bit, bring back some of the brightness in the rocks. Cool, so I think I like that. Let's look at the before and after already. Let's see what we've done to this photo so far. So before and after. I mean, that's a pretty big adjustment already. So a lot of people may just be happy with that, but I'm gonna take it a step further. Before and after one more time. Yeah, okay. Let's go down to curves. Now guys, I know curves can be scary. The best thing you can do is just play around with them, because you're never gonna learn unless you just try it. It's actually not as bad as it seems. So up here we got highlights, midtones, and shadows. So I think I'm gonna drag the highlights down a bit. Let's see, not too much. Just brings back a little bit. It makes it a little bit more contrasty and brings back some detail. Then I might lift shadows a bit. Nothing too crazy. Let's see. Put another dot right here and see. Do I want to give it more of a vintage look? So if we drag this up right here, it's going to obviously give it more of a vintage look, where everything looks a little bit more gray. And then if I drag it down, it's going to make it darker. So I'm thinking I'll just drag it up ever so slightly. Let's see what that looks like without the curves. So that's before I added the curves, and this is after. Cool, so it added a slight vintage look to it. I like how it looks. Once again, guys, it's all personal preference. Okay, so I'm thinking I want to adjust the temperature a bit. I might drag it down a bit towards the cooler, just because I want to make the blues pop a bit more. And the image is full of orangish tones because of the Australian dirt here. It's all orange. So I kind of want to take away some of that rusty look and make it look a little bit more vibrant with blue. Speaking of vibrance, let's drag up the vibrance ever so slightly. Nothing too crazy. Cool. And I don't think I'm going to mess around with saturation too much. Now we can go down to our color mixer right here. So you can choose any of these colors that may be in the image. Let's go to our blues and let's see how this affects the blues. So obviously we're changing the hue of the blues to look more teal, and then you can move it right to look more magenta. But I'm not sure, maybe we might move it towards the teal just ever so slightly. It's all personal preference. I think I like that. I'll just ever so slightly. Saturation, I'm not gonna really mess with the saturation. You can desaturate it, add saturation. I mean, it looks a bit intense right there. I wouldn't really mess with the saturation too much. Gonna maybe drag it up a bit, and then luminance, you can make it look darker. It almost looks like a a watercolor painting like that. And then you can also drag it up, but then it becomes all washed out. So, how are we feeling? We might just bring the luminance down a bit, just to bring back some of the color in the sky. Cool. And now the effects tab, we have texture. So texture essentially just adds more texture if you drag it to the right, or you can get rid of some texture to make it look more soft. Personally, I think I'm gonna just leave the texture at 0. Clarity, we drag clarity all the way down. It makes it look like a water painting as well, a watercolor painting, excuse me. And then if we drag it to the right, it kind of sharpens it almost. It gives it like more detail, and it makes it a bit darker. So I might just bring the clarity up ever so slightly. And then dehaze. I think a bug just flew in my mouth. All right, back to it. All right, so if we go to dehaze, we can drag it to the left. It's gonna add a little bit more haze. And then if you drag it to the right, it's gonna take away the haziness. So with this, not too much haze I really need to take away. I might go to the right ever so slightly. Yeah, that works. Now, vignetting. I'm a big vignetting kind of guy. So I'm gonna add a little bit to this photo, just to kind of emphasize the middle of the photo, that little island out here. Now, some people wouldn't do vignetting for landscape photos, more so for portraits, but it's my personal preference, all right? So I add a bit. Cool, I like that. Then we'll go to sharpening. Let's sharpen it up ever so slightly. Bring that sharpening up. And then we can go to optics. Now in optics, if you see there is an enable lens correction, we'll go ahead and check that, because that's gonna correct the distortion in your lens. So some people like to keep it unchecked because it gives it kind of a stylized look, but I'm gonna go ahead and check it for this landscape photo. As you see, it takes away some of that vignetting. So I'm gonna go back up, add just a little bit more, just like that, just a little bit. Yeah, cool, I like that. Awesome, so that looks tremendously better than it did originally. Let's look at the before and after. So boom, boom. That looks really good. I'm proud of that. Wasn't too hard. Now, let's have some fun. Let's say we want to make these trees a bit greener. So we can go up to our color mixer and we select the green tones. Let's zoom into the trees. Let's see if this works. So we can adjust the hue of the greens, but as you see, there's nothing happening. And I think that is because it's mixed up with all this yellow right here. So it's having a hard time distinguishing the greens. I'm not actually entirely sure why it's not really working for the greens. We can go into the yellow tab. Let's see how that affects the greens. There we go. So since it was all mixed up with the yellows, we can just go to our yellow color right here and adjust the hue a bit to make it a bit greener. So let's zoom on out. See what we like. Cool. I'm liking that. It looks a bit more green. Maybe just bring the saturation. Let's see. Play around with the saturation a bit until we see something we like. The luminance. No, we're gonna leave that where it is. Guys, we can do this all day, honestly. I could be on this all day, messing with this photo and tweaking it. I'm gonna leave the luminance there. Saturation, maybe bring it back up a bit. And bada boom, bada bing. I'm liking that. Let's go to our oranges. Let's see how we can affect these oranges a bit. Maybe desaturate the orange a bit. Cool. I think I like that. I think that looks pretty good. Let's look at the before and after one last time. Before and after. I mean, look how much better that is. This photo was shot in RAW, so it goes to show how much you can change that image. Now, it doesn't mean you can't change an image when it's shot in JPEG. It's just a whole lot easier in RAW. Yeah, so that is my workflow through Lightroom. Obviously, it varies between photos, but if I have it overexposed, I'm messing with the exposure, I'm messing with the highlights to bring detail back into the sky, and then adjusting contrast and shadows to bring out more detail. And yeah, just manipulating the image until it looks like something I would like to post on Instagram or hang up as a poster in my room or in an art museum. I mean, I don't know. Anyways, guys, I hope this gave you a better idea on how you can bring back your photos from the dead, because sometimes we just go out and shoot and we forget to check if we got the right exposure, and we come back later and we realize, crap, why did I do that? Remember, it's always important to try to get the photo how you want it to look in camera before you go and edit it, but luckily there are things that can save your photos from the dead. And yeah, so that's about it, guys. Remember, there's that Canon M50 giveaway going on. Subscribe, go to the link in the description, and it's gonna let you know how to get that M50. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace!